Over the past season and a bit, Alpine have been pretty damn impressive if you ask me. When it comes to improving their car during the season, they've proved themselves to be one of the best at it, as I think pretty much all the upgrades they have brought since the beginning of 2022 have worked. And while their 2023 campaign got off to a pretty bit of a slower start, they've picked it up in the last couple of races. We double points in Miami a few weeks back, and then again in Monaco, with one of those point finishes being of course Ocon's podium, and you have to imagine Gasly could have finished a bit higher, had one or two things done a very bit differently for him, like no being held up in the pits, but that's racing. Alpine have a plan to fight for world championships, and I've been wondering, can they fight for world championships in the future? Can this team that's been under many different names get back to championship winning ways? Well, let's hear Pierre chat about it. In terms of a driver lineup, they've got a pretty solid one with Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon, both three-time podium sitters in all three podium positions actually. Ocon third in Monaco last weekend and Gasly third in Baku 2021, Ocon second in Sakir 2020 and Gasly second in the madness that was Brazil 2019. And then of course the respective race wins and the craziness at Monza 2020 for Gasly and Hungary 2021 for Ocon. Gasly was, I'd say, one of the most consistent drivers on the grid a couple seasons back in 2021. He was usually always up thereabouts, putting himself in amongst the Ferraris and the McLarens in the midfield, sometimes even beating them. And sure, his time at Red Bull in 2019 wasn't great, but he had his moments. He was P5 after starting P8 in Monaco. He finished P4 ahead of Max at Silverstone in what was, I think, his strongest drive at Red Bull. Sure, in Baku that year his car died on him, but when he retired he did so from P6 after starting for the pit lane, and yes, he hadn't stopped yet, but he had a free pit stop over Checo in P7. That's a pretty good effort. Don't forget how he finessed his way onto the front row in Qatar. Then Ocon is, I'd say, one of the more underrated drivers on the grid. He's been fairly consistent throughout his time in F1, and he's gone as high as third on the grid back in Spa 2018, which of course was the season of the infamous commentary line from Crofty.
But here comes Sebastian Vettel!
And then of course inherited third last weekend, and last season he did finish ahead of Alonso in the driver's standings. I know Alonso had a period bit of reliability trouble, but that's part of racing. To finish first you must finish. Not to mention he almost had a fourth podium at Saudi Arabia in 2021 where he lost out to Valtteri Bottas on the line. It's a stronger lineup than some may think is my point. Remains to be seen if it's definitely a championship winning combination, but it seems like they've sorted out their dislike for each other that was there and can work together quite nicely, and that's going to be a big thing for the team, as it's always handy for a team when they have two drivers that can get along well and can work together nicely. In time, I think it could definitely become a championship winning combination, but it remains to be seen. And as for the team, this team has been around for a while under whatever guy's there. This dude started out with Tolman, which is of course the team that gave Ayrton Senna his debut. Then they became Benetton, which won 2 drivers titles and 2 constructors titles with the legendary Michael Schumacher. And then Renault brought the team and renamed it to Renault and won 2 more drivers and constructors titles with Fernando Alonso. And then they were Lotus, then Renault, now they're Alpine. They've had success before. A lot of it. But in recent years, they found themselves in this position of being back around about the top of the midfield, but they haven't been able to make that jump back up to the sharp end. Kind of similar to something I'll say about McLaren in a while, but they've also in recent years found themselves at the top of the midfield, but haven't been able to make that jump to get back to the sharp end. Arguably, it is the most difficult jump to make in Formula 1. Alpine's CEO Laurent Rossi a few weeks ago had some pretty hard words for the team, basically saying that they needed to improve their performances or there was going to be consequences. He does seem a bit more satisfied now after Monaco, but if Alpine want to first off either stay ahead all the rest to the midfield or possibly even challenge the top 4 this year, then they'll need to keep up performances like that, but personally I see them finishing P5 this year. And they'll also need to keep weekends like Monaco up and improve on those kind of weekends in the coming seasons to try and fight for a championship. Rossi has said the resources isn't really an issue, and they have a new simulator that's set to come online in the next couple months, and the team are apparently being provided with enough money to push up to the cost cap for the next 10 years. And we all ken that cash is king in this sport. So, you know, the fact that they can push up to the cost cap, that's going to be an important thing for them. If Alpine can keep up the improvements we've seen for them for the past little while, then yeah, they can put themselves into the ballpark of a championship fight. But personally, I don't see them winning a championship in this regulation set, mainly because the Red Bull are so far ahead. And then you have Aston, Ferrari, and Merc up there as well, who have, well, Ferrari and Merc definitely more resources than Alpine do, and they'll all be trying to catch Red Bull, hopefully. But rather, I see a title coming their way in the new reg set that comes in 2026, providing that they can carry this momentum into that reg set and the Renault engine doesn't have a repeat of the last time a new reg set came in. And at the end of the day, what gains the regs in 2026? It could be the launch pad Alpine needs to get themselves up to the sharp end. When regulations change, anybody can get it right and anybody can get it wrong. Look at the 2014 regs. Mercedes, they weren't up to much in their first 4 seasons, but come 2014 when the regulations changed, they were miles ahead of the competition. Look at Ferrari, they made a bit of a comeback to the top of the midfield after difficulties in 2020, back to the top of the midfield 2021, 2022 they were back up at the sharp end. Yes, things went a little bit pear-shaped, but my point remains, the same could happen for Alpine in 2026. It could be the launch pad to get them back up to the sharp end. Do you think Alpine can fight for championships in Formula 1? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new. Thank you all so much for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.